I went to go see the new Dungeons & Dragons movie so that I could design a better poster than they did without ever seeing the original. So first we went to go see the movie where we laughed and we cried and we got angry and we fought a little. And then I had ideas on how to make the poster, but I realized that they didn't invite me to the birthday party. So yeah, I finished the movie and I was honestly pleasantly surprised with how good it was. But this isn't a movie review channel, so I'm gonna move on. And going forward, there are gonna be some minor little itty bitty spoilers going ahead. So just keep that in mind. Nothing too much, like maybe talking about the weight of a dragon. But yeah, so let's go ahead and go into the first design. So yeah, for this first one, I wanted to go with a more Hollywood look. So I wanted to kind of go the generic route and kind of tell parts of the plot without giving too much of it away. So the main components I wanted to include are just the characters, kind of like the floating heads trend that's in every movie poster today. I wanted to have blended backgrounds of different scenery from the movie. I want to have some important and cool looking items like a walking stick and a potato. And I needed to include a dragon somehow, or else the movie would just be called Dungeons and. So I started off with the first design by getting a little bit of a sketch going, just to kind of get the where everything's laid out. The typical movie poster has the logo on the bottom with the characters above it. So I start by dragging in the movie's logo, just slapping it right where it needs to be. And now that I have a general idea of how the poster should look like, I start by masking out the characters using the pen tool to outline them and then selecting them to mask them from the backgrounds. Now, it's really hard finding good quality images of the characters, so I had to make do with some screenshots from different clips of the movie and just anything I could find on Google Images. So please don't zoom in on anything because you'll probably be able to count the pixels on any of the characters, and for the love of God, do not zoom in on Simon's fingers. And again, I couldn't find a good image of Holga, so her arm is getting cut off in this weird way. So I decided to go with a popular design element that is common across successful brands, that if you go by design theory and psychology, you would understand that this element provides security, strength, and cohesiveness in the design. I put a potato. I wanted a visually interesting background, so I got these screenshots from the trailer of the castle and the dungeons, which I felt was really on theme with the movie. I blended them together and I stylized it to be red to match the logo. Now, wouldn't be a Hollywood movie poster without some credits, so I got this template of where the actors and the credits can go, so I just put some filler text in there and slapped it on, and added some texture, camera raw filter, and the final poster is done. Looking back at the final design, I wasn't too happy with the result. I don't really like this style of poster to begin with, but I definitely think I could have done better. If I were to do it again, I would not have done the background so red. I think it kind of makes it flat with everything just kind of being that red color, kind of giving a red tint to the characters, red logo, red background. I think I should have added some more colors in. Also, I think just having the blurry images to work with kind of held me back a bit. I'm not using it as an excuse. I definitely think I could have done better with what I had, but it does make a pretty big difference in the final result. Now that I'm done with this one, it's time to move on to the next one. I'm interrupting this video because I need to tell you that you need to subscribe, and if you don't subscribe, you're not allowed to watch the last 5 seconds of this video, which I have a very, very nice surprise for you. Since I can't compete with the images and the assets that the original designer has, I wanted to find another way to stand out by creating something a little bit more unique and avant-garde. So for this one, I wanted to pay homage to the original D&D game and some of the handbooks and other stuff made for the actual game. So I found this one and I wanted to take this layout and make it a little bit more modern and interesting. So I couldn't find any good dragon images, so I did something that I would not wish upon my worst enemy, and I made the dragon from scratch. Luckily, in a previous project, I had already started this. I was trying to make the movie The Page Master into a hyper-realistic movie poster, but I dropped that for, well, obvious reasons. So to begin with, I found this drawing of a dragon that I just found on Google. Probably some kid did it. It's actually pretty good, better than I could do. And I used it to get the right proportions of what the dragon should look like and start putting in some assets. So I got about this far, but I had a lot more work to do to get it done. So you might notice that my dragon's looking a bit gummy and unintimidating. So the first thing I did was to add some teeth to the dragon. Just to add to that, I decided to add shadows and highlights to each one and start the process of making this look a little bit less like a collage of just random pictures. I decided to go around what was near the teeth and start to align things there and make things look a little bit more cohesive piece by piece. And here I started to make the dragon red, just like the one in the movie. To then get the underbelly to look better, I added a shadow between it and the back to kind of show depth and blend it in with the body a little bit more. And I then added a scaly texture because it looked too flat and it needed more. I warped it to match the curves of the shape, and this made a huge difference to the dragon overall. I added highlights and shadows to the back, and then I repeated this for the legs and the wings, and the feet looked really off and I couldn't get it to look right, and I was honestly a bit tired at this point, and I decided to hide it because, you know, no fee for free, am I right? Now that I have the dragon almost complete, I decided to add a striking yellow eye with a little bit of glow just to finalize the dragon, and it is done. So the next thing I needed to do was to add a dragon to the landscape. So I'll just give you a little time lapse of me putting it together because I'm just tired and honestly I didn't know what I was doing. Go watch many productions if you want to learn. I just kind of do stuff and see what looks good. All right. Pause the time lapse. I need you to see this silly little guy. This is cracking me up. All right, so we got this guy in flannel and jeans just sizing up this dragon. Bro just got off his 9-to-5 accounting job and said, I'm gonna go kill this dragon. Susie in HR is probably freaking out. What does she care? He's off the clock. It's not a company liability. Anyways, I changed his clothes so he looked like Edgin, the main character from Far, and just added that in. And now that the landscape is done, I decided to finalize the layout by adding this grungy border to it and adding a bit of texture and a camera raw filter, and this is the final product. Along with this final design, I decided to do a different variation just to go another route and see what other opportunities there were. I'm not sure which one I like more, so let me know which one you guys prefer. I think this was a very big project, had a lot of fun with it, and thank you for taking the time to watch all this through. Go ahead, hit the like, subscribe. If you don't subscribe right now, click off the video because I have a present for those who stayed. I'll wait. All right, for those who waited, here's a picture of my boo-boo keys.